Okay, hello artists. I am back with sort of I had to make my own because I couldn't find my blending stumps. It's not the greatest one, but it'll be all right. And I'm going to leave you a video with instructions on how to make one for yourself. Okay, so what I want to do is fill in each of the spaces, and I can even create gradations, which is different values kind of all squished into one, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to pick a spot and fill it in. The first few don't matter very much, you know, what value you make them. But as time goes on, you're going to have to be very careful, because you don't want shapes or objects that have or that are the same value next to each other, or they blend together. So, okay, that's going to be kind of a medium value. I'm going to make another one about the same value over here. I'm not going to do this whole thing because you don't need to sit and watch me draw or watch me shade, but I want to do a few that are kind of close together so that you can get the idea. And I'll show you gradations, like I said. So I'm going to use my blending stump, which is kind of like a paper pencil that you can blend with. And some people like the smoothness that the blending stump makes. And if it gets too dark, you can rub it on another piece of paper, preferably not on the back of your drawing. To clean it off so that it doesn't, you know, a darker value won't mess up a lighter value. Okay, so this one, I'm going to put it next to this darker one, but I'm going to purposefully make it lighter. And I'm going to use this side is kind of dirty, so I'm going to turn it over and use a part that I haven't used. So now I can tell these two shapes from one another because they are two different values. And I'm going to make a lighter one. Actually, I'm going to switch to my vine charcoal, which does make, this is kind of delicate, so it will break easily, and it's okay if it breaks, but you don't want to just tear it up for no reason. I'm sorry about the scritching. If you are sensitive to scritching, I would highly recommend you not using charcoal. It's scritchier than pencil, and some people don't like pencil because of the scritchiness. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to clean this by rubbing it on here. You can also clean a blending stump by rubbing it on some medium grit sandpaper. Okay, it's not all off of there. That's about the same as that. I needed to go lighter. Good thing I didn't put them next to each other. Okay, and there's some texture left in this one, but it's okay. And another thing I can do is use leftover charcoal to make very, very light values. And make sure it's very smooth. Okay. All right, so let's use some some compressed charcoal, and I'm going to make a shape that's much darker than this one right next to it. The compressed charcoal is the least scritchy because it's so smooth. It does still kind of make a noise. So I'm going to go over it and fill in a lot of my little, as many of my little white speckles from the texture of the paper as I can. Now this makes a lot of dust. See that? Especially if you are in class, you do not blow that dust across the room. Hold it over the floor and shake it off, please. Okay, and I just tap the edge. And let's get my blending stump, and I'm going to blend this. And you can already, that looked really dark before, but now it doesn't, now it looks medium because my value next to it is very, very dark. Okay. Okay, so I have more dust, so I'm going to shake it off over the floor. And I do have dust around here, but that can be removed with an eraser. All right, so let's talk gradations. There's my charcoal pencil. I'm going to use my charcoal pencil. Now this I got to be kind of careful because I want to go from a light value over here to a dark value over here. So I'm going to barely touch over on this side, and I'm going to gradually apply more and more charcoal. Very light, kind of medium. Now I'm going to go to medium dark. So I can see 4 separate values. Now I'm going to use my blending stump. Okay, if you blend, blending stump or nothing. And I'm going to start over on this light side and work towards my darker side. And I'm going to do swirlies. To help smooth the transition out. Okay, it starts out darker than this area, but it does change from kind of a medium to a dark. And I can also do this with buying charcoal. So let's do this one. I'm going to start out. I kind of made lines and spaced them out. So then I'm going to start layering or coloring in more. Well, it feels better. It kind of makes that super scritchy sound when I go backwards, so I'm only going to go this way. To be sensitive to my people who are sensitive to scritching, and I'm not really wild about it either. Okay, so I'm going to clean off my blending stump because I've got a darker charcoal on there. And I'm sort of losing my point on it. Okay, so I'm going to start on this side. use the other end to kind of take some off. So I can get some lighter. Okay, there we go. That one looks really good. And I'm going to fill this one in so we really get the effect of the lighter next to a dark. And I just used an eraser to do that, to get that little area of bright. Put that back in, see if I can kind of blend it carefully. There, that's better. Okay, so I'm not going to blow dust off. I'm going to shake it off over the floor. So that's, in a nutshell, how to use charcoal. And the same method, making sure that you're getting colors or values that make sense next to each other is super important. You can do gradations like I showed you on those three, or you can do solid colors to fill in your actual objects if you want to use charcoal. So that's that. Thanks for watching.